Okay, so show of hands.
Nobody?
Oh, get out of here.
Cassie, don't go.
What started the investigation? What led you to look into this and find Mr. Mizuhara?
There was an ongoing federal criminal investigation into illegal gambling businesses operating not just in our district but throughout the country, and that investigation ultimately revealed this bank fraud.
As you mentioned, this was pretty fast for a federal investigation of this magnitude. What led to such a quick resolution here, and was the popularity of Shohei Ohtani and his reputation, did that factor into wanting to get this resolved?
We understood there was a significant amount of public interest in this case. There were a lot of question marks out there in terms of what had occurred. We wanted to get to those questions. I want to emphasize, though, that while we were able to work on this case rapidly, it was a very thorough investigation. You will see in the complaint review of thousands of communications, review of bank records, review of phone records, interviews that were done with several individuals related to this. So a very thorough investigation was done.
If I could ask a quick follow-up. You said earlier that you don't believe that the bets were made on baseball. How certain are you of that at this moment?
Based on the review that we have done, and it is, as I mentioned, a very thorough review, we do not believe any bets were made on baseball games. Yes.
Given all the evidence that you just laid out, what kind of penalty or punishment do you think Mr. Mizuhara could be facing? And does Mr. Ohtani have any chance of ever recouping any of that money that has been lost and stolen?
Mr. Mizuhara faces a charge of bank fraud. Bank fraud carries a statutory maximum penalty of 30 years imprisonment. But the ultimate sentence that he would receive, if convicted, would be based on a determination by the judge. The judge considers all the factors, all the background to come up with the appropriate sentence. That is for the court to decide. We will provide all the facts to make sure the court is fully informed in making that decision.
Can you talk about the degree to which Mr. Ohtani cooperated with the investigation and what that involved?
Mr. Ohtani, as I mentioned, has been established as a victim in this case. I want to be clear that Mr. Ohtani has cooperated fully and completely in this investigation. He's not only spoken to investigators, he's provided access to his digital devices, to his personal information, to ensure that justice was done in this case.
And to what degree did Ippei cooperate?
Excuse me, I didn't hear your question.
To what degree did Ippei cooperate in the investigation on Mr. Mizuhara?
Mr. Mizuhara is charged in this case. He's presumed innocent, and I'll leave it at that.
What are the next steps? Has Mizuhara already pled guilty, or what will be happening after this?
So this is the filing of a criminal complaint. Those are allegations that have been made. A criminal charge is filed. Mr. Mizuhara will now have to appear on that criminal complaint. That appearance should happen sometime in the next few days. Following that, we will prosecute the case wherever it goes. Whether Mr. Mizuhara admits his guilt or whether he decides to contest his guilt, we will follow it where the law appropriately leads us.
Follow-up, where will he be appearing?
He will be appearing in federal district court in our district.
We'll get you the details on that. Any more?
How much?
Go right here.
Will Mr. Ohtani continue to be asked to take part in the investigation?
Mr. Ohtani has cooperated, as I said, completely and fully in this investigation. We expect him to continue to cooperate fully in this investigation. We don't have specifics in terms of requests that we would have right now, but certainly over time, we expect that cooperation to continue.
We'll take two more, Steph.
Did Mr. Mizuhara say to the bookmakers, did he say he was a representative of Mr. Ohtani? Did he ever reference Mr. Ohtani in his communications with the bookmakers?
We don't have those types of facts to give to you. What I can say is Mr. Mizuhara was the lead. He was the one placing all the bets. He was the one doing all the interaction. And these bets were made on his behalf and for himself. As I mentioned, he lost over $16 million. But occasionally he would win. That money did not go to any account owned by Mr. Ohtani. That money would go to an account that was personally owned by Mr. Mizuhara.
But did he say, like, when he's placing bets, hey, I am, you know, sort of for boasting, you know, I am connected, I'm a representative of Mr. Ohtani, not placing bets for him, but sort of boasting his connection with Mr. Ohtani?
I'm not aware of that. When you have a detailed complaint, you can review it and you'll see some of the communications there.
Matt?
On the impersonation to the bank, was that just on one occasion? And can you talk about how you got the recording? And was he speaking in English in that or in Japanese? Just walk us through how you obtained that and any further details you can share.
So in investigations of this sort, we often obtain records from every relevant party, including banks. Banks will at times have recordings of communications related to an account. We were able to obtain those recordings in this case. There was more than one recording where Mr. Mizuhara impersonates Mr. Otani in order to allow a large transfer to take place. Many of you, I'm sure, have experience with this in your personal lives. A transaction takes place. The bank may view that as suspicious, may reach out. In this case, when they reached out, they would get Mr. Mizuhara, who would pretend to be Mr. Otani, to make sure that the money went through.
Okay, last one right here.
Okay, I was just going to ask if you had any dialogue with Major League Baseball through this process.
The investigators have had dialogue with the victim in this case, Mr. Otani, and have had dialogue with other interested parties, and I will leave it at that.
So not with MLB Department of Investigations.
Other question? Yes?
Have Mizuhara been arrested and booked, and is Matthew Boyer facing any charges?
So as I mentioned earlier, Mr. Mizuhara is expected to make his appearance in the next coming days, and he'll make his appearance in this district.
All right, we're